Next up, vain. Can you spell robust? Your word is monk. All right, spell trauma. Next up, workout. The next word is erupt. Your word is sigh. The next word is convey. Your word is gender. All right, spell forbid. Can you spell echo? Next up, enact. Enact. Your word is wrist. Your word is meditate. All right, spell irony. Your word is exile. All right, spell random. Next up, remarkable. Spell refrain. The next word is pledge. Pledge. The next word is pigeon. Spell supposedly. Supposedly. The next word is firefighter. Your word is residential. Next up, uncomfortable. Can you spell immobilize? Can you spell transaction? Next up, furious. Spell chronic. Spell embarrassment. Next up, parliamentary. The next word is novel. Your word is burger. Your word is cacophony. Spell surveillance. Your word is endeavor. The next word is remarkable. Your word is supersede. Spell mathematician. Can you spell brusque? Brusque. All right, spell deployment. Your word is alphabet. Next up, irony. Spell echo. All right, spell intent. Spell forbid. All right, spell noble. All right, spell robust. Your word is burial. Your word is rally. Next up, vain. Your word is comply. Your word is
ink,
the next word is
alliance,
your word is monk. Spell refugee. Your word is dilate. The next word is trauma. Spell
exert,
next up, duck. Next up, erupt. The next word is seldom. Next up, pronunciation. Can you spell obesity? Your word is separation. The next word is validity. Spell lightning. All right, spell curious. The next word is refrain. Next up, ambiguous. Ambiguous. Can you spell breakthrough? Spell integrity. All right, spell narcissistic. Can you spell prestigious? The next word is favorable. Spell obfuscation. Spell exile. Can you spell wrist? All right, spell suck. Your word is workout. Can you spell stumble? Spell
absorb,
your word is dairy. Can you spell convey? Your word is enact. The next word is defy. All right, spell pledge. Next up, await. Your word is hornswoggle. Next up, gender. The next word is random. Spell sigh. All right, spell magnificent. All right, spell automatic. All right, spell noob. Can you spell enact? Can you spell noob? Can you spell
forbid.
all right, spell irony? Can you spell workout? Can you spell wrist? Your word is sigh. All right, spell defy. Spell intent. Next up, stumble. Can you spell duck? The next word is
Absorb.
all right, spell quill. Next up, abstract. The next word is
Abolish.
next up, novel. Spell scrutiny. Can you spell magnificent? The next word is seldom. Next up, exile. Next up,
Meditate.
spell bizarre. Your word is trauma. Spell pursuit. Can you spell embarrassment? Next up,
Exert.
your word is offender. Your word is expenditure. Expenditure. Spell diplomatic. Next up, convey. Can you spell dairy? Your word is random. Your word is rally. The next word is
Echo.
The next word is monk. Can you spell vague? All right, spell burial. Spell gender. All right, spell vein. The next word is
Ink.
Can you spell robust? Next up, await. Can you spell transparency? Spell erupt. Spell suck. Spell margin. Next up, lightning. Spell pledge. Spell alphabet. Spell appetite. Can you spell problematic? The next word is immobilize. Your word is unprecedented. Can you spell voluntary? Next up, strategic. Can you spell guideline? All right, spell obesity. The next word is curious. Spell rehabilitation. Spell discombobulate. Next up, recession. Can you spell asthma? Your word is parliamentary. Your word is psychological. Can you spell deployment? The next word is eloquent. All right, spell albeit. Spell propaganda. Your word is onomatopoeia. Spell monosyllabic. All right, spell noble. Can you spell comply? The next word is trauma. Your word is chronic. Can you spell erupt? Spell curious. All right, spell sigh. The next word is comply. Spell exile. Next up, gender. Can you spell echo? The next word is vain. All right, spell absence. Spell obesity. Next up, voluntary. The next word is vague. Spell noble. All right, spell warrior. Next up,
Guideline.
spell automatic. The next word is
Betray.
spell appetite. Can you spell parallel? The next word is
Alliance.
next up, passionate. Spell
Furious.
all right, spell expenditure. Your word is dairy. All right, spell albeit. The next word is stumble. Next up, duck. All right, spell pledge. Can you spell wrist? Can you spell enact? Next up, suck. Your word is random. Your word is rally. The next word is exert. The next word is noob. Next up, robust. Spell irony. All right, spell alphabet. All right, spell remarkable. Spell lather. Can you spell
Meditate.
all right, spell convey. Spell immobilize. Your word is monk. Next up,
Absorb.
spell breakthrough. Can you spell pursuit? Next up, await. Can you spell offender? All right, spell pigeon. Spell quill. All right, spell firefighter. Next up, refrain. All right, spell tremendous. Next up, ideological. Next up, ingenious. The next word is predecessor. Spell accumulation. All right, spell strategic. All right, spell unprecedented. Next up, thesaurus. Next up,
Reliability.
next up, eloquent. Spell vulnerability. The next word is negotiation. Next up, solipsis. Your word is favorable. Spell
Psychological.
Can you spell malapropism? Can you spell practitioner? The next word is abscond. Can you spell accomplishment? Your word is monosyllabic. Spell workout. Can you spell burial? All right, spell defy. Your word is
Ink.
spell intent. Next up,
Forbid.
next up, warrior. Your word is magnificent. Spell defy. All right, spell duck. The next word is noble. Can you spell gender? All right, spell irony. All right, spell curious. Can you spell burial? All right, spell rally. All right, spell
Congratulate.
Can you spell refugee? Spell remarkable. The next word is offender. Next up, bizarre. All right, spell thesis. All right, spell pursuit.